This is Jen with SeductionUnleashed.com, help you unleash your best with women and beyond. And today we got a special video on deck. We're talking about the 5 archetypes of women that you will inevitably meet when you're out here in this dating game. Because the truth of the matter is, as much as girls like to say they're different, ultimately at some point you tend to kind of see the patterns. You got the party A.D.D girl, she's super extroverted, she's getting drunk every weekend. Then you got the more shy, reserved girl. She plays the innocent act, but is she really innocent? You have all these different types of archetypes, and ultimately this video we're about to break it down. Also, with each step we're gonna give you a special technique or a special tip that helps you attract this specific type of girl. That way when you're out and about and you meet that girl and you're like, wow, I think she kind of fits that archetype Jen was talking about, you can use that special tip to get that girl. Because ultimately, man, I've been in this game long enough to where I've seen the shy girls, I've seen the bubbly girls, I've seen the ADD chicks, I've seen the NPC basic ass bitches, and I've also seen a lot of crazy bitches myself personally. So with that being said, number 1 is the sarcastic bubbly girl. Now ironically, for a lot of shy girls, this girl a lot of times ends up being the girl that breaks them into the game, into women, period. Because a lot of times shy guys or guys we're not, or guys who we struggle or whatever the case is, a lot of times the chick that ends up breaking us is that chick who kind of sees us, who kind of just sees us, and she's like, she kind of gives us this chance, she says that little thing that gives us that bait. Ultimately, this type of chick, she can be really, really fun on the front end. I mean, I remember one time I was with a buddy of mine and we were waiting on somebody, and as we were waiting for somebody, I seen this cute ass rockerish type of chick walk by. This was in Jersey while I was out with my friend in Jersey, and I stopped her in the middle of the street and I spoke to her, and immediately we hit it off because her energy, the thing about me is I like to crack a lot of jokes and I'm really sarcastic, and her energy was exactly the same wavelengths. Like the type of chick where you're just like, oh, hey, I know it's kind of random for a random sexy Asian guy to approach you on the street. And as soon as you say that, she's over here like, well, you know, like she plays along, like she instantly gets it. You're gonna meet those chicks where as soon as you're sarcastic, as soon as you joke, they instantly get it. They instantly role play, and you're like, oh shit, this is kind of fun, man. Like this chick gets it. She's full of high energy and I fuck with it. And this type of chick, she can be really fun early on, yo. Only thing is that this chick tends to be she can be a little bit of a free spirit, and chicks are kind of inherently deceptive. So these types of chicks, sometimes you have to watch out for. They can be some real succubuses because they're so charming. Sometimes they're hard to keep up. A lot of times these chicks are great for fuck buddies, but sometimes when you're around them all day, it can be kind of draining because they're over here looking at you like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Like looking for the next fucking fix, and that can get kind of old, especially if you actually got shit going on and you're working and whatever the case is. But here's a tip for this type of chick. Understand that she is just playful as fuck, and I mean, matter of fact, no, there is a very important tip. I actually fucked that setup. I fucked that interaction that I just spoke about. I fucked that up because I actually ended up playing sarcastic, flirty games, or no, not even games. I just was flirting with the chick. I was just being sarcastic and flirting with the girl to the point where I literally built no solid connection. There wasn't, and let me put it like this, if you approach a girl in the street, the most important thing to get to guarantee that second date is to build that solid connection. I know you see a lot of videos where the guy's like, hey, I thought you were cute, and you get the cute little number real quick, 2 minutes. I'm telling you, those are all flakes, 100%. Trust me. I live in New York City. I've gone up to chicks in Manhattan. I've gone up to chicks in Brooklyn. I've gone up to chicks in fucking New Jersey, in the Bronx. I've gone up to hood chicks, to inner city chicks, to Manhattan white chicks, whatever you want to call it. My first girlfriend was Bengali, for Christ's sake. Like, I've gone up to all types of chicks, and I'm telling you right now, universally speaking, especially when you go up to girls on the street in non-social environments, coffee shops, whatever the case is, you have to make a solid connection. It got to the point where I literally had an epiphany one day. I went up to this girl, and within a couple minutes I made out with her, and then I never heard from her again. And it was the most mind-blowing shit, because this happened in a neighborhood that wasn't a neighborhood where there would be a lot of dudes like me. And this chick particularly pointed out how she had a thing for Asian guys. And for me, it was obvious that this was like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for her. But yet suddenly, when I hit her up later, I got no reply, and it blew my fucking mind. I didn't understand what it was, especially because she pointed out the whole Asian shit. I'm like, how could she let this special gem go? And what I realized is that I was flirting with her so much. She was such a sarcastic, bubbly girl. This was actually another situation. She was such a sarcastic, bubbly, like, type of girl that we hit it off so well that by the end of it, I was being too sarcastic, I was being too push-pull, just too flirty, and ultimately I didn't speak about the serious things. What are the serious things that are going to create that solid connection? I know we're getting a little bit off topic here, but sometimes we got to get deep into the shit to really help you out. The deep connections, the topics that you need to speak about are like your passions, your hobbies, your interests, things, future things that you are trying to get into, your ambitions, aka, you know, your family, and also even tragedies, even negative things, struggles, because this life is yin and yang, is duality. So when you can show those two sides of you, that's why women like assholes so much, because they see the asshole side, but then they see that positive side. It creates that tension. Just like you take a magnet, you take positive, you put negative, it comes together. You take positive, you put positive. No matter how much you want to fucking logic, no matter how much you want to morally put these magnets together, the positive it's just going to repel. It's going to be like, motherfucker, that's where the tension is created. Also, childhood memories, childhood games, I mean, things that connect you and her on a deeper level, where by the end of it, she's like, oh shit, that's Jin. You know, he was the Asian kid, the Chinese Puerto Rican kid who grew up in the hood. He kind of didn't fit in all the time, but he kind of struggled. He worked his way out. He broke out of it. Now he's working his shell. He's doing this, he's doing that. She has like a whole life story. That's what you need to prepare, is your own life story. That's kind of what you need to have, because otherwise she's just gonna remember you as some funny, cute guy who got her number, and it's not gonna be enough to see her a second time. Yeah. Number two is what we call the shy girl, and we've spoke about this. We had a recent video on how to speak to shy girls, and I just want to, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on this step, but I just want to say, just because a girl is shy doesn't necessarily mean she's an innocent angel. I know it may seem on paper that way, but all I'm saying is, put it like this: if you're gonna have a shy girl around, you're gonna have to inevitably deal with the fact that the negative sides to dealing with a shy girl, that yin yang side, is inevitably, just like if you deal with an extroverted girl, it's great when it's positive, but when it's negative, that extroverted nature is now going to show itself in a negative light. So when a girl's shy and reserved, that shy, reserved nature is going to show itself in a negative light, inevitably, which a lot of times is basically in the form of being passive aggressive. The bitch is going to walk into another room. She's going to be quiet. She's going to put a wall up. If there's drama, you're going to be there trying to break the tension. Meanwhile, she's there just perfectly fine, being passive aggressive, being cold. And that shit, it gets really frustrating, especially if you're living with a girl. I mean, as a guy, it's very difficult for me. It's very difficult for us as men to have that patience to be in a situation where we just feel it's uncomfortable. Eventually we just like, man, you want something from the store? Like you say some shit to break the tension as men. That I've seen my father do it. I've seen older men do it, and it's annoying because women are like the no contact rule experts. They're like the passive aggressive experts. So when you deal with a shy girl, you unfortunately might have to deal with that part of her. I just want to say real quickly, if you're dealing with a shy girl, make sure that she actually has something going on. She can be reserved, but make sure she has something going on, because you meet those reserved girls where it seems like, oh wow, she's like my fair little maiden. She doesn't party, she doesn't have Tinder, she doesn't, but she doesn't do anything. She's over here, every time you speak to her, she's like, well, I'm just here chilling. I'm telling you, those are the type of chicks, those shy chicks, that they have nothing else going on. So they're just going to go from boy to boy to boy. They're going to have rotations of boys because they have nothing else, but they're shy. So they're just going to play it off like it's not really happening. But if you suck to that girl and every single time you talk to her, she's not doing shit, that bitch is a toxic bitch. I don't care if she's not drunk, falling on her fucking heels. You need to strive for chicks that are gonna push you and push themselves, because I'm telling you, if you're on this channel, if you're on the Unleashed Dating channel, self-improvement up in this bitch, and you're not trying to improve, because here's the thing, for me, when I got into this shit, it wasn't just about women, it was self-improvement, period. It was like the women was like the cherry on top. It was kind of like the carrot on the stick. But ultimately, I want to make this important. It's an important part of this channel, because what happened for me was my story's a little different. I got good so early that it kind of spoiled me. It ended up having the opposite effect. It's like the cherry, I chose women as like the carrot on the stick. So when I finally started getting my life together, I got in shape, I lost weight, I started getting women. Now I started getting the successes and the pleasures. So that self-improvement part of my life started to wane a bit, and over time I started to spoil myself with riches. And now I'm not getting my life together. I'm slacking in different areas of my life, and I can always have that crutch because, hey, I can go to this bad bitch house. I can go to that bad bitch house or whatever. Like I get into argument with this bitch, whatever. I'll go to the next bitch house. It's like you're just in this, you're using this identity. I was using this identity as a crutch. I was using women as a crutch when I finally got that success. So I just want to make sure that you know this, because when you surround yourself with women that do not push themselves, they're going to push you beneath them. They're going to be looking at you when you go to the gym like, hey, honey, I just wanted you to know, like, you don't have to go to the gym. You look fine just the way you are. Bitch, you just fat and lazy. You don't want to go to the fucking gym yourself, so you're trying to guilt trip me about trying to pretend you love me, you weirdo motherfucking manipulation. What the fuck type of shit is that, man? Man, if you ever had a chick do that, trust me, she knows what she's doing. Matter of fact, there's even dudes out there who gotten their girlfriends fat because they don't want to deal with the competition of other dudes. I'm telling you, this shit happens. When you deal with limited, low-level mindset, they would rather bring everyone else down than raise themselves up. And I'm just letting you know, a lot of shy chicks, a lot of reserved chicks, they tend to be not bums, but some of them are. Just letting you know. Number 3, the Foreigner. This is an interesting one because I chose this one because I live in New York City. And naturally, you're gonna meet girls from everywhere, especially if you know you speak to girls in Manhattan. You might talk to a girl that you swear knows English, then she suddenly has a strong fucking accent. And a lot of times when you deal with foreign girls, you're gonna have to deal with the fact that there's a little bit of a language barrier. So my tip for this step is to really be, you know, up your energy, be more animated, because you're gonna have to deal with that shit. Like for me, I kind of had a little bit of a trouble with foreign chicks depending on how bad her language barrier was, because I like to speak very nuanced and intricate, and I not that I have low patience, but sometimes I have low patience. It's difficult. Some guys, they don't mind. Some guys, they can have some chick like, oh, ha, 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 yeah, like just laughing. They don't really understand what the fuck but he's just being animated and she likes him. Like, that's cool. Me, I don't know. I like to really communicate on a deep level, but that doesn't mean you should not, you know, you should brush off foreign chicks. Foreign chicks are fucking awesome. Not only that, but they didn't have to deal with a lot of the brainwashing that American media has, the entitlement with women now. They may get a little bit of that now if they come over here in America and whatnot, but truthfully, it does make a little bit of a difference. You know, when I'm in Manhattan and I speak, for example, when I'm in Manhattan, if I speak to a girl, she's American, there's certain things about her mannerisms that sometimes can be a bit aggressive and masculine. I don't know what it is. Like, you just see American bitches walking like the back is hung. I don't know how to explain it. Like, for example, when I spoke to British girls in Manhattan, what I learned is that their vibe was very different than, say, the Eastern European chicks. Like the chicks from Latvia or Czechoslovakia, you know, European, like East European, Russian and whatnot. They had a much different vibe than the chicks from like the UK, the British chicks that I met. The British chicks I met, they tend to be a little bit more like, oh my God, like posh. Not obviously not like, oh my God, that's some American shit, but they would be more like kind of posh, like, okay, good day. Yeah, okay, love. Like very like, almost like it's charming as an American because you've never seen this shit, but I could also kind of feel how it was a little bit of that poshness that kind of, it kind of reflected that American kind of, oh my God, baby, yeah, like, oh my God, we're going to the fucking city, we're gonna go shopping and all this type of shit. It kind of reflected that. I felt how like the East European chicks, they had more of like a calm, feminine kind of energy. I thought that was refreshing. So when you're talking to foreign girls, I'm telling you, okay, here's a special tip. Acknowledge the fact that she's foreign. Acknowledge the fact that you have nothing in common. A lot of guys, they come and they have disadvantages. They come to us and they're like, man, I'm short, I'm Indian, or I'm not that that's a disadvantage. But motherfuckers will talk about it like that's a disadvantage. Like, I'm Asian, I'm short, I'm super black, I'm mad dark skin, or I'm mad pasty, or I'm mad this, or I got that problem. But here's the thing. Or for example, they're in an environment where no one is like them. Dude, if you're an Indian dude in an environment where there's nothing but white chicks, that's perfect, because now every single white chick you speak to, you can now ask her, hey, have you ever wore these baby dresses? You ever had Indian food? You ever dealt with those things before? You ever been culturally? Are you kind of closed-minded? You can put her on the chopping block, and you can also just relate to the things you have to say. I mean, what do you want to do? Chill with a Netflix and chill bitch all day? Like, what the fuck are you gonna talk about? What happened in the last week of the walk? I mean, I guess, but when you meet a foreign girl, a lot of times that shit is fucking amazing because you can just, and you learn so much. It's almost like, I'm not gonna say it's like traveling to the country, but there are people who travel to other countries that have less experience with, I feel like with that culture than with me if I just fucking bagged the chick who was literally in this city who was from that culture, because they could teach you so much. You learn so much, and you also learn different ways of being, and you tend to expand your tolerance, because at the end of the day, if you meet another girl who doesn't do some goofy shit that every single chick in America does, and you never seen that before, and now you're like, oh shit, I kind of like that. You know what? That's how I want it from now on. That shit is amazing, and it's also just great to expand your mindset. Don't try to always get that college chick on Tinder. She got the little online profile. Every single word sounds like some quirky little BuzzFeed article. Like them basic ass NPC bitches, man. Come on, dude. Expand your mindset. These foreign chicks out here, man, they not slacking. They never lacking, man. Number 4, the A.D.D party girl. This is just inevitable. We all know this girl. And we tend to meet this girl at the very place where, you know, that's her habitation, man, is the club. It's the bar. She's some chick, she's a girl who, if she doesn't go out twice a month at least, she tends to feel like her month was wasted. Like if that Friday night is going down and she's reading a book, she's like, oh my God, all these people are out at the club. These types of chicks, I don't need to say what, it's kind of obvious. They're not, I'm not here to judge chicks. I'm not here to be a fucking square. But ultimately, I'm telling you right now, when I started this shit, that's how I was. I didn't want to be judged because I was tired, because I used to get chicks' friends and families judging me, saying I'm a player, I'm a dick, I'm this and I'm that. But then when I actually would, let me put it like this, when I would meet girls, and I had that open mind. I was like, I'm not gonna judge you. I don't care if you're a stripper. I don't care if you sold your pussy before. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna separate sexuality from the person. That's how I felt like I'm gonna be 100% equal. But what I learned is that most of the time, the chicks who are drunk, who are just having promiscuous sex all the time, they tended to be the most boneheaded bitches. Like, you look at their family history, you look at their father figure, they're home, they come from broken homes, they got all these twisted kind of mindsets. It's obvious that this is not just a coincidence. It's different. Like, as a guy, if you fuck 100 girls, it has to mean something good. It has to mean that you're either good looking, you're super charming, or you have super value in that society. You either can run your mouth, you look really good. It has to be a positive thing. If a woman fucks 100 guys, it's almost a guarantee that it's a negative thing. It's like, it's a yin and yang type of thing. That's ultimately why the whole low-key, shitty, I'm not gonna get into that whole thing, but ultimately, man, I'm just letting you know. And if you do want a tip for how to bag these, of how to attract these type of women, I'm sorry, I keep saying bag, it's like a New York City term. It sounds really misogynist, like bagging these bitches. But anyways, if you want to learn how to attract these type of women, you know, if you're at a club, which is probably where you're gonna meet them, ultimately you're gonna have to step your energy up, because these chicks are very flirty, they're high energy, but they also, you know, they're not that, then they're cool to talk to. When you're in that mode, you're being energetic, and ultimately, you know, yeah, man, just be high energy. Don't be lower energy than her, and get her to, you know, validate herself to you too. Don't get too caught up in the flirting, okay? You gotta build that solid connection, even if she is a bit of a dodo bird, you know? Dumb bitch. Number 5, the baggage girl. This is probably the worst chick on the list. I mean, she kind of, a lot of times the chick from the last step can also be the baggage girl, but this is the chick where you go on a first date with her, you're excited. I mean, you get your hair ready, you're like, damn, dude, I look good, man. I got my shit together, you know. You show up to the date, everything's cool, and then suddenly, you know, date's going cool, and then suddenly she just goes, yeah, my ex-boyfriend, he used to be a dick. He used to always cheat on me, or blah, blah, blah. And my ex was like really crazy. He blah, 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 blah. Bitch, I don't give a fuck. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? Are you serious? Those are the chicks where you look at them and you're like, man, you need to go to a dating coach for bitches, because you suck. Like, those are the chicks where it's like, I wish you could be a dude so you could understand how trash you would be with bitches. Are you serious? Man, those girls who say that their exes are crazy, that last ex was crazy, oh yeah, and the ex before that, he was crazy too, and the ex before that, he was even crazier, oh yeah? So tell me, what's the common denominator between all this? You, bitch. that tells me everything I need to know. I mean, come on, who are we fooling here? These types of girls, I'm not even gonna give you a tip, man. You don't need a fucking tip to bag this chick. You don't need a tip to attract this woman. You need to avoid this bitch with all, man. Here's how you could attract this chick. Talk about all your crazy shit and she'll relate, and you'll be there talking about all of your crazy shit back and forth, so eventually you have crazy high sex. And that might be cool too. But you better be ready to kick that bitch out. Because I'm telling you right now, matter of fact, I remember meeting a girl where she told me she was bipolar. The moment she said that shit, I was like, oh, hell nah. To the nah. I already knew this is not gonna go anywhere, because we already know how women like to use justifications. All that's gonna mean is that anytime you lose your shit, you can just lose your shit and be like, stop, I'm losing it. You know, I'm bipolar. You're gonna make all these fucking nah. We're not going down that route. That was probably the most quickest I ever nexted a bitch in my mind. You know, you ever do that next to bitch, but in your mind, like you just with a chick and she just says something, oh yeah, I had a gangbang with your uncles and what the fuck, and you just some crazy shit, she just say some shit from left field where you're like, okay, next. Never say anything. I mean, man, I never spoke to that chick again. I never ran from a chick so fucking fast. So that about sums up this video. This is a very special video. It's near and dear to my heart. I'm sure you can hear a lot of the stress in my voice, a lot of the gray hairs in my hair, and ultimately, man, unleash your best, women and beyond. And remember, until next time, competence is bred by I fucked it up. Competence is bred by competence. Peace.